Hey guys, it's Riz again, and we are in part two of our mass roleplay review videos. In this one, we're going to go over another two logs, The Reavers Part 1 and The House of Cards Part 2. And I'm just going to get right into it because you know why we're here, so let's get to it. In The Reavers Part 1, in the last video, I kind of said that I was a little on the fence on if I was going to cover this one, but there was a lot of good stuff, and even though my character, my Therizian character, made an appearance, I didn't really do much in this log, so I feel like there's enough for me to, as an admin, talk about it. So let's talk about it. In this log, we have Koshiro. I'm going to call him Oren because that's his name. And Greg. And this type is a combat and a mercenary from New Majorn, and a mercenary from New Majorn Beyond Falls. Can we back that English up? A mercenary from New Majorn and beyond falls into the care of the Tiger of Harlem, an adventurer from out of town, as gangsters calling themselves the Reavers seek an item in his possession. English is hard. And this one we started right around Christmas time, and I love that we kind of kept it in the same kind of theme. But it's basically Koshiro is kind of going through Sector 8, and he is looking to buy something for his girlfriend and his kid, presumed. There's a lot going on in Koshiro's story in his two logs that we've seen him in. A lot going on. So I think that's who he's buying presents for. And what we get after his introduction is an introduction to another character. Now, the name is under Rizian, but actually it's a character named Oren. And Oren is essentially moving something. He's a young kid who's like kind of like, I would say kind of like your 2000s beatnik kind of kid, right? Like he's really into fashion. He's really like he's the guy that's, on Twitter like, cop these shoes. I waited in line for 48 hours to get these shoes at finish line. Like he's that kind of dude, right? And they kind of literally bump into each other. And I'm not going to describe the log to you, but because they bump into each other, he's actually delivering something. He's a drug runner for the Reavers. And the moment he drops what he's supposed to be delivering, all hell breaks loose. And what I liked about this log from Koshiro is just kind of how Ike really took the setup and put much more to it. I was going to say, like, this is probably like one of the weakest logs I've ever done for myself. I was not too impressed with what I put on page here, and really need to lean on Koshiro to expand on what was happening. I felt like I was more like the bullet points of like, okay, we're here, and then these people show up, and then he's like, okay, so this is how we make it cool. But it's the scene where, like, they bump into each other, Koshiro gets robbed, and right away Oren kind of knows, like, crap, like, I wasn't supposed to do this, like, I had very clear instructions. Now these guys are coming to get me, and he says 10,000 zeni if you get me the hiffle out of here. Spoiler alert, he was never going to get that money. This character didn't have that kind of zeni on him. But I just figured, like, all right, what would somebody in this situation do to get out of this situation? So yeah, I always thought that was fun. And it had to be enough to kind of give this guy who's an ex-gangster, who's kind of down in his luck, just got robbed for his last couple hundred, like 10,000. Shit, that makes somebody very happy real quick. Especially since they just got robbed. So I thought that was pretty cool. And there's this chase scene throughout the city. There's guns going off. Excuse me. And what Ko really does really well here is he kind of gives life to the city. I know that, around the time that this was going on, what you were watching, and the environment became a character, even from just like random people. And the one thing that I tried to do was play off of it, right? So here's somebody who lives in this city, knows it all really well. He could probably run through the streets blindfolded if he wanted to. And all these people were like, "Hey man, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine, just getting shot at." And you got this other like random person like, "Hey, I'm here too," right? Because that's the kind of person that Oren was. And they have like this kind of back and forth. I'm trying to make it light and fun, like by calling him Coco and shit like that. And then it gets real quick. We took like a pretty long pause just for real life, and they get to like this fire escape, and Koshiro's like, "All right, you got to climb up here." And it was my intention to then introduce the Rizian character here. So Oren starts to climb up here, and then he gets shot, right? He gets shot right in the chest, but not before. Sorry, I did skip ahead. Not before Greg, this wandering monk samurai dude on a horse, just kind of rolls into town based off of writer's will. And here's the thing, I'm gonna say this right now: whatever y'all did to Greg, you need to undo it, because I want this dude back to roleplay. All right, Greg was a really cool character. He was a really interesting take on the setting, and just a different, like, we never really had somebody. Well, let me back up. We've had people who have been fucking cyber enhanced space ninjas, and now we have this samurai on a horse. Like, I need that sort of diversity on my chat channel. All right. This is head admin telling you guys, fix it, bring Greg back. But yeah, anyway. So Oren gets shot, and we start to see this like this really weird ethereal kind of conversation happening, right? I'm not gonna explain what happened, but Oren gets shot and he falls very far and he hits his head, and his RP energy has been reduced to 0, and from here on out it's pretty much just a fight at that point. And yeah, so I'm not gonna go back and reread the log to you guys, but part of the reason why I wanted Greg back is because he just kind of ran with it. This is a new player who does not know the setting as well as Ike and I, and he's like, Cygnus Hospital, got it, sure, I know who that is. Sector 8, understand it, totally got it, 100%, go ahead. And then he just brought his own taste and his own flavor to it, and it was really good, and it was really refreshing, because he never, a lot of new players will be like, I don't know if I can roll. He just jumped in it. He just said, fuck it, man, I'm gonna do it. And it was a lot of fun, because after I kind of killed Oren, I could go back and do some NPCing, and it was just a good fight. I can't really explain more, because it was just a good fight. Both of them, both Greg and Koshiro, handled this well. Like, there was some jobbers. It was this dude that I put in this. It was supposed to be like the exoskeleton suit at the end of Aliens with guns on it. That's what it was supposed to be, and it just turned out into something way bigger, and it was funny, and it was fun, because this dude was just fucking goddamn. Here's what I thought about with this character, and I know this video is getting pretty long already. This dude's supposed to be with the goddamn Reavers, right? I'm just here to get you to give me whatever the fuck I want. Like that's just what I had in my head. And I swear this, I know it's me, but this was my favorite line. When this guy's like, you know what? I goddamn respect you bringing a piece of shit stick to a gunfight. Dumb idea, and you're surely gonna die for it. But sir, I goddamn respect it. Like, I just like that. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. And then we wrap it all up with beating the boss, and it's just putting a nice little bow. Greg rides off with Orin, who is dead. Orin's dead, guys. He's dead. He's not coming back. And Koshiro takes the fall for it. But if there's one thing that I'm going to say about this log, it is, Ike, you have a very annoying way, and I say annoying with as much endearment as I can, of never wanting to be the hero. Like, you never want your characters to be the main focus of pretty much anything. Like, I have to shove this shit in your face and make you like fucking which is fine. I mean, you can play a side character, but Koshiro here was the hero. He was the everything here. Like, I feel like him taking the fall for this also very heroic, but also kind of annoys the shit out of me, because I would have liked to have seen him gotten away. I would have liked to have seen him interact with Greg more. I feel like if they're like, hey, we need to take him to the hospital, crap, we can't take him to the hospital. I have to take him somewhere else. You know, I got my night nurse. That's where we're going to fix this guy up at. And then them getting away, I feel like that would have been a better end than him just taking the rap for it. But the thing that I say, like, when Koshiro is the hero here, he had a very heroic fucking moment. Like, very heroic moment when he did his what did I call this? I called this move something. Voltic Smash. Yeah. So I just really had this idea of fucking My Hero Academia, and like this power just kind of jolting through his arm and then him hitting this thing. That was fucking heroic, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like Koshiro has every right to have his moment and to shine in it, and I feel like that was his. And so I would say, like, don't force your characters into obscurity when they're not meant for it, right? I think you would try to shoehorn him into something that, like, clearly on page the character doesn't. That's not the character. Sorry. Greg, come back, please. Please come back. That's really it. That's all I got to say about that log. It was fun. It was fun to do. Rip Orin. And so the last one we're going to talk about is the House of Cards Part 2. And in this one, another Ike log, Zofu is the character, and Fantasia, that's her name. It says that this is drama training. I'd say it's more drama. And while waiting for Len, Zofu gathers some much needed supplies and returns to the House of Cards to meet with his master. So, Zofu. This character, by design, is almost impossible to describe, because not only of what he is, but how he is. And he is so unlike any other character. It's really hard to kind of put him in a box, right? Kind of hard to tell. Somebody would say, explain Zofu. I can't. Like, I don't know. Like explain interdimensional travel. I just can't do it. Zofu is I want to call him a mage, but I want to say he's more of a warlock, more of a necromancer in training. And that mindset, that kind of like twisting things to his own will, while giving up a sense of control. That's why he's so hard to describe, because really Zofu wants to control so much, but it's almost like he wants to do it ironically, right? Like he doesn't want to claim that he has any power, but he wants to have power over everything. And this is the first time that we've seen Zofu, at least that I can remember, since the Strix. And we'll get to that a little bit later, but essentially he's just gathering supplies, and he kind of bargains his way to buy something for, it wasn't the exchange of a ruby. It's really weird. This whole section kind of threw me off for a little bit. But it looks like he exchanged the ruby, or he got a ruby for it, but then he is like, it's old magic. Very old magic. Right? And I feel like because it's colored, I feel like this has a lot of importance to the story. So let me reread this. I'm sorry. This is a really bad review because it seems like I didn't read the log. I did read the log, but just this part kind of confused the fuck out of me. Yeah. So he's paying with this. Okay. Whew. But what throws me off about Zofu, like old magic, maybe even the first spell that had ever been cast, like I don't know, right? I don't know enough about this character. And I feel like that's always been what I've encountered with this character, is like I don't know. When I think I know something about Zofu, he changes. I feel like Zofu is a character. The best way I can describe Zofu is trying to catch a shadow, right? You think you have a grasp on him, and there's nothing there, right? That is just the best way that I can describe this character, and it is written that way. Like in comparison to like the other logs that we've talked about from Ike, like this is the power of Ike. His characters are all different. They don't all, I mean, they all come from the same person, but they don't all come from the same source inside that person. Like I really feel like there's like 18 different beings that live inside his beard. But Zofu trades this ruby for what he needs, and then he goes to meet his master, Fantasia, Phasmatablon. And it's weird because it seems like the House of Cards is an idea, or maybe even a mental realm, without being a physical place. Like honestly, I could see Zofu just kind of sitting somewhere in meditative style, like fucking Doctor Strange, and like and everybody's just looking at him like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? And he's like, oh yeah, I was in the House of Cards. It's like, no, you weren't. You were sitting there tripping balls, man. Like, give me those mushrooms. Like, you're not eating any more of those. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting here. Like, maybe he wasn't even actually there. His spirit form was there. But that's just me. Maybe he actually did go here. Fucking, I don't know. Ask Ike. And he meets with his master who taught him the magic ways, and they have a very interesting conversation. It's like she knows exactly what he wants to say, but wants to hear him say it. and maybe this is even a touchback to the Ruby that we were talking about, but essentially Zofu cursed himself, I think. When he said the words to Nova about her arm and about what's going on with her, and it's a really interesting take because this is the first time we've ever seen something like a curse, and it wasn't cast by anybody. And honestly, it could be a lot of things, but I think it could be Zofu didn't mean, I mean, obviously he didn't mean to do this, but he didn't mean to unlock this power, but he did. Like, maybe he can just curse people if he really says it from the heart, right? If he really says it where he means that shit. Like, you ever see a friend, they like, you're playing a video game or something like that, and they lose, like, oh fuck man, but then they lose that one time, and that shit, it right, like it comes from the heart. Like, there's a line in an anime that we watched, where this character says, like, the next words that came out of my mouth made everything that I've ever said before seem like it was a lie. Like, that's what I feel like Zofu said. Like he meant the shit he said to Nova with such venom and conviction that it caused a curse, but it cursed himself. Which honestly could be what, I don't know. I don't know how to describe this. I don't know how to describe it, but I am very interested in it, right? I am very interested if this Lycanrot really is what she said, or if he contracted it just from being around it, or if it's something completely different. Maybe this is the start of his transformation. Maybe this is the start of something different. But it's a really unique look at how magic works, how magic can work. And the funny thing that I found in all of this is at the very end, where Zofu says he's gained some better control over his illusions. And his master says, imagine out there in the world of warriors you've been traveling with, it seemed frustrating to compare your magic against their chi. And then he says something that I know if my character heard, she would highly disagree with, but he says, the power they wield is so destructive and immediate. There don't seem to be as many, if any, drawbacks. My magic takes so much preparation and luck, it's hard to even compare them. And I feel like that line, that especially that last bit, really tells us a lot if you know the story of Zofu. Because I don't think in this line he was talking about anybody that we've seen on page that he's traveled with at all. I think he's talking 100% about his family back home and the legacy that came before him. And I don't think he's not talking about Len, Nova, Indon, anybody. He is talking about his brothers and his father and his uncle, and the whole Kumasharu. And it's almost like he just doesn't believe, or maybe doesn't even truly have an understand, or even he doesn't respect the path to power through fighting. And maybe that's what has always held him back, and why he has chose to do magic and do illusions rather than to just be a straight up warrior. He would rather control things without people knowing that he is the controller, rather than be feared, like straight up, right? He doesn't want to be the demonic golem that stands and puts fear in people's heart. He wants to be the creeping death that you never see coming. And I still feel like Zofu is an evil character. not saying like he's like, I'm not saying he's a bad. I'm just saying I just feel like his heart is evil, and I feel like that's his approach. I could be wrong. Again, I've said it before. I can be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind being right now and then being wrong later, or being, wrong later and being right that I just said that. The opposite of what I just said. I don't mind either way of that. I just think that Zofu is a character who, if you let him go, can be a very, very nasty villain for our verse, especially as he gets stronger. Like, I feel like Zofu is the type of person who would be a nightmare for a new player set. He would be worse than Red Shot. He would be worse than any version of Lai. I feel like Zofu could be the penultimate villain on our page, and we're seeing that. We're seeing the villains rise to power now, which I absolutely am here for. I honestly hope that at some point he gets the Dragon Balls and is like, you know what? I wish that all of you powerful tier 5 motherfuckers were weak and helpless, and that you can never get your powers back. And he just like steals the Dragon Balls from Korgoga, that guy, the Namekian, the Black Adders. I hope he steals from them and he soul sucks Indon. I just see this like just this shadowy Death Eater. That's what I feel like Zofu is, beyond all the Majin charm and the sleeping. Nah. He is Satan incarnate. He's our Deborah. We have it. We have our Deborah. Anyway, guys, that's my take on all these roleplay logs. I hope you enjoyed my ranting, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys on the chat channel.